side. So the division's really on fire right now, and we're going to get a chance to see Bungu do his thing.
Well, there you see the numbers on the two fighters will be coming into the ring. In 29 years of age by Scheepers, 21-6-2, 15-7-4 on the other side for Mercado. We'll take a look at the other numbers that these two fighters will be possessing here. That, of course, is the age, also the height and the reach for both. Scheepers at 5'9", likewise for Mercado, and you see the weights, 139 for Scheepers, 63.0, 62.35. That equates to about 137.5 for Mercado. And the reach advantage slightly in favor of Naas. So we'll find out if some of those numbers will equate to something that they'll be able to take advantage with here. Again, in a 10-round
Ladies and
junior
gentlemen,
welterweight
welcome
fight.
back to the carousel tonight. Boxing brought to you compliments of Jumbo Cash and Carry, the big one on Super Sport, your channel of champions. Our next bout is in the junior welterweight division. 10 rounds of boxing to follow. Please welcome our boxer into the ring. His name is Ranel Mercado.
Mercado stepping in, 15-7-4.
His opponent this evening, all the way from South Africa, Naas Scheepers. Smith and Joe Horn, our timekeeper Danny Litchfield, and our referee Len Hunt. Also like to welcome all the viewers tonight on the Cedric Kushner Sports Network. Well, there's 10 rounds of boxing to follow in the junior welterweight division. He's fighting out of the blue corner, all the way from the Gauteng. He weighed in at 63 kilograms. He's wearing the white trunks, ladies and gentlemen. 29 fights, 21 wins, 4 by knockout, 6 losses and 2 draws. Please welcome Naas Scheepers. His opponent this evening, he weighed in at 62.35 kilograms. He's wearing the blue trunks. He's had 14 fights, 10 wins and 4 losses. Please welcome Ranel the Tiger Mercado.
Okay, the third man in the ring will be Len Hunt. Of course, summoning the two fighters to the center of the ring. Scheepers on one side and Mercado on the other. Both rather reluctant to get to the center of the ring.
Okay, let's go, please.
If this was the illustrious Mills Lane, he'd be over slapping them around, getting them into the center of the ring, I think.
Okay, chaps, let's have a good fight.
Now, why would you say that about Mills?
Because he is the judge, and when he steps in, he is in control.
Capital T, capital J.
Mercado again getting his last section instructions as he leans out of the corner. And on the other side, Scheepers gets ready to go, and we'll find out what happens as they're scheduled for 10. Now you're looking at a southpaw here. And as Mercado, of course, has he fought some southpaws? We obviously look at the record, do not discern left or right-handers, so we're not sure about his full record, having 15-7-4, but little adjustment fighting a southpaw.
That is an understatement. Fighting a left-hander, as we well know, one of the most difficult things to do for a fighter. There's not a lot of them. You don't get a lot of work in the gyms against left-handers. To get good sparring, you got to go out and find them. It presents a lot of problems, not the least of which is footwork, as feet frequently get tangled. And everything is coming from the opposite direction.
It's always that situation. They've heard it try to be explained. You got to get your left foot outside of their right foot, et cetera, to try to neutralize that. But try to say that to someone when all of a sudden they're watching punches coming from a total different direction.
see how cautious Mercado is in the first round here.
You know, they actually list these two fighters as identical heights at 5'9", 1.79 meters, but Mercado clearly is shorter of the two fighters right now.
Somebody better have their tape measure checked, because there's no way Mercado is as tall as Scheepers. I'm wondering when Mercado's going to throw a punch here. There's the left hand. He can't get past that jab here.
Keep him up.
And when you got a guy that's that rangy as Scheepers is and has a good right hand, follows up with the left. Mercado, a shorter fighter, shorter arms. He's got to find a way to get in on that inside. And right now he looks puzzled. And that's being polite.
He also, as a matter of fact, on his outside of his left eye already is showing the effects of a rather crisp jab. And Scheepers is throwing in his face.
Well, one effective punch, of course, and there he threw it, is the lead right hand against the southpaw. But you also have to be able to jab some. You don't want to totally abandon the jab. There goes the right hand again.
Come on, break clean. No, let's cut out the elbow.
And Mercado's not jabbing at all. I don't think he's thrown one this round. That's not going to work in his favor.
Scheepers has 11 knockouts in his 21 wins, the last one coming in May of this year. Defeated Danny Reyes in a 4-round TKO. But again, 11 knockouts again for Naas Scheepers.
Mercado has been fighting in the Philippines and in Australia exclusively.
Big left hand by Scheepers. Mercado having to fight through it at the end of the round. Well, there's one thing about Scheepers is the fact that excellent balance. You see that he's able to throw the left, the right. He stays on balance, able to make a lateral move and set up another punch. Excellent balance for this fighter.
He's a very obviously capable boxer. And Mercado sits down. He turned pro just in 1996, I believe. So he's still learning the game, and it is really showing.
You know, when you take a look at some of the replay here, turning pro in 96 and already a 15-7-4 record, you talk about a guy that has a lot of experience.
And he ran right into that left uppercut.
Very calm corner, as you would expect from Harold Volbrick early on. He will get in his face if something's going wrong earlier. And, of course, carries on into the latter part of the round. Round number 2 of a scheduled 10-rounder on the Cedric Kushner Sports Network. John Saraceno of the USA Today joining me, Sam Smith, for our broadcast today. Glad you could join us. These are junior welterweights. Naas Scheepers in the white. In the blue is Ranel Mercado. And Mercado is going to have to find some way to get inside on Naas, but he's not going to do it with those winging shots he's trying to throw.
You saw him lunging in there desperately, trying to land something. This is the worst kind of a fight style-wise that Mercado could have even imagined. They're a little bit off balance, got hit with a right hand by Scheepers.
Stop. No, stop pulling in. Huh?
And a warning by Len Hunt, stop pulling in. Scheepers grabbing Mercado from behind the neck. But really, style-wise, Sam, this is a horrible fight. This is a nightmare for a guy like Mercado. Short guy, trying to box a long, lean left-hander. He doesn't have a lot of power, but knows how to put his punches together. And you just see Mercado, he's got no clue as to how to get inside. He needs to step around to the right and throw that right hand.
Scheepers continuing to circle well. He's had 7 knockouts in his last 12 fights, by the way, so 7 of 11 have come in the last dozen, so he's apparently picking up some pretty good power along the way.
Another thing Mercado would benefit from doing is, even though the upper torso of Scheepers is moving, the head, the arms, the waist, you go for the body a little bit more. And that's a target that you should be able to find. For Mercado, just standing right in harm's way. He's right in the zone. He's getting hit and not throwing much back, at least effectively. Now he's picked up the pace here a little bit at the end of the second round, but still not in an effective fashion. Of course, you have to have an effective aggressiveness to score well with officials, effective punching, ring generalship, and you got to have good defense. Those are basically the 4 criteria that judges look for when scoring a fight.
And right now, Skippers in the white has all of the above, and the man in the blue, Mercado, has little, if any, of those at all at this moment in this fight. Half a minute to go in round number 2. We talked about adjustments after the first round. Now adjustments after the second round. Mercado will definitely have to make some, but he's not going to be allowed to do so with Skippers doing so well.
You know, and Mercado's legs do not look like they're under him. He's been very unsteady when he gets hit.
One rule that is in effect in South Africa for us tonight, and you will not see it in this round, but maybe in the subsequent rounds coming up, is that it is a 3 knockdown rule. We've already seen it used here tonight, and you have a feeling that could happen in this one.
Well, certainly the way it's opened up here in the first 2 rounds. Skippers teeing off of Mercado. And there we go to Skippers' corner. Harold Volbrecht, who once fought Mark Breland for the WBA welterweight title and lost. Wish we could tell you what they're saying, but
my goodness.
Now Harold is German. Was that German?
I'd say
Don't even bring it up, right?
I heard some clicks along the way. I sure did. Look how well Skippers uses that left hand. He's just sharp with it.
Straight left hand, right on the button, followed up with the right, and you see the stumbling Mercado, off balance.
There's some conversation going on in this corner
about that cut.
And Mercado, it has been asked if he wants to continue, and of course if they will allow him to do so with the cut. And apparently everybody says yes on all of those accounts, and here we go for round 3.
You saw Mercado making the sign of the cross, and for good reason.
Well, a youngster fights out of Australia coming in, trying to make a fight of it here in the 3rd.
You watch your head, huh? Let's go.
Well, Mercado realizes he's way behind on points. The referee is already thinking about maybe stopping this fight. He's got to try and make it look good here in the 3rd round if he wants to continue. Did he come here to win, or was he just here as a survivor, or just a body to put in front of Skippers? We're going to find out here in the next couple of rounds if it lasts that long.
Comes a point here, John, in the fact that when you've got a fighter in such control of a fight, your corner's not going to tell you, let's go out and get some work. Do what you can do. If the fight ends, it ends. But you still have to stay inside your game plan. Don't just all of a sudden start throwing caution to the wind and do what you really would like to do. And maybe that is to wing some punches, but just stay in your game plan and fight as if you are in your office.
Very good point. And I keep seeing Mercado's legs. He keeps making funny movements. He picks them up one at a time, and just little things that tells me maybe he's not in the best shape he could be in.
He's definitely back on his heels, that's for sure.
Look how calm and relaxed Skippers is. I mean, this is like a gym workout for him.
Exactly. The only thing different from throwing some punches at a bag, the bag seems to be moving a little bit right now.
Also, you know, Skippers could get lulled into a sense of complacency here, and that's one of the problems with when you're teeing off on a guy that really physically doesn't match up well with you or style-wise, is that Skippers kind of falls to sleep here. And, you know, he's pity-patting him with these jabs, but, you know, there comes a point where his corner is going to want him to try to finish this kid off if he can.
If you don't fight, I'll stop it, okay? Come on.
And now the warning from referee Len Hunt, you fight or it's all over.
Well, you know, it's easy for Len Hunt to say. I think Mercado's trying to do something, but when you're having a jab smashed in your face and you can't get into the guy, it's pretty hard. I wouldn't say he's not trying. I think Len Hunt is missing the mark there. I really do.
And also you consider, you mentioned the jab, but right behind the jab is a combination by 4 other punches. As Skippers continues to work right there. Perfect example.
He can't just walk into everything, and that's precisely what he's been doing. He's trying to pick his spots where he can land something, but Mercado just does not have the power where he's going to summon that one lightning punch and suddenly turn the fight around. At least it doesn't, so far it doesn't appear that way.
You know, it almost looked like Skippers looked over to the corner to Harold Volbrecht and says, you know, how much longer, what's happening
What
here?
am I supposed to do with this guy?
Well, he'll find out as he'll head for the next round after another solid round and in command of this one tonight.
Nice, I'm pulling it, huh?
Dirty tactic there by Skippers.
Stop.
He's a little frustrated too, Sam.
Now, yeah, and that
Yeah.
comes a point when you have a fighter that has a real good game plan and is a skilled boxer as we have here. All of a sudden you come out, you're fighting a man that is lesser talent than you, and it's obvious that's happening. As the rules, of course, 3 knockdown rule is in effect on the referee's discretion, of course. No standing 8 count. If a fighter gets in trouble, he's on his own. Cannot be saved by the bell in any round, and only the referee can stop the fight. But as it is around the world, the doctor can give his opinion to the referee, but he has to make the decision to go on or not. So those are some of the rules. But back to the point we were making there about the fighter, frustration sets into the better of the fighters as well because he's done everything you need. But, you know, how much further do I take this thing?
That's exactly right. And with Mercado, he's only been stopped 1 time. So he is a survivor, and apparently he's willing to take the punishment.
Let's go.
This is round 4 on the Cedric Kushner Sports Network. Sam Smith along with John Saraceno of the USA Today.
Oh,
and a right hand by Mercado.
Run.
Oh, what a big punch that was. Mercado's been waiting to do that all fight long, and so have we, to see it. And he put
7.
Skippers down. And now what does it do to the fight here? Now what does go through Skipper's head?
I don't know, but I didn't think he had it in him. A blast. And Skippers is in trouble, Sam. He is trying to dance away and clear his foggy mind at this point. And you see Mercado trying to pour it on. He realizes he's way behind in this fight. This is going to be his best chance to win the fight.
You know, that could have not have happened at a better time than when we were talking in between rounds, talking about the focus and the concentration of Skippers in a rather easy fight as it was up to that point. He just lost focus and concentration, and Mercado made him pay.
He fell asleep at the wheel, and he crashed into that wall.
Watch your head.
Stunning reversal here in the 4th round with Mercado uncorking that right hand and dumping Skippers to the canvas after Skippers had controlled, totally dominated the first 3 rounds.
I tell you what, Mercado, this definitely is a solid round for him. As Skipper's just trying to regain his composure. He was in total command through 3 very solid rounds, and halfway through the 4th, he is definitely losing this one badly after being down once.
But the good thing for Skippers is he's regained his, let's say, consciousness. I mean, certainly he was conscious when it happened, but he was fogged up, and now you can see he's got his feet back under him.
And what a lift that was for Mercado as well. You said early rounds kind of as if his legs weren't there. All of a sudden he's got a little bit of a lift in his step again here after getting that knocked down.
Does he ever?
Now does he go back into his shell? It appears that he's trying to do a little of that. He might have punched himself out of energy here, as now a warning comes from the referee on Skipper for holding behind the head.
Now that's 3 times Len Hunt has warned Skippers for that. When's he going to take a point?
And you think about a knockdown round and a point taken away. Now Skipper's really teeing off. And all of a sudden Mercado has just gone into the shell and not fighting again.
Well, you're right, Sam. He used that burst of energy early here in the 4th round when he registered that knockdown. And now you just see Skippers peppering him once again. This time Len Hunt warning Mercado not to lead with his head. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Don't lead with your head.
That's true.
Helps you from getting punched.
You'd see Mercado just walking in but not doing anything.
I'd like to see Skippers throw that uppercut as he did earlier in the fight with the left hand, because the way Mercado leans down, he's a perfect target for it coming in. But he really hasn't thrown it that much. And that was a good round for Mercado, obviously with the knockdown, but Skippers really kind of came back strong the last 2/3 of the round.
This should be an interesting corner.
Watching this will be good. Runs out, it's his mouth, it's his mouth. Don't worry. Nasie, jy staan voor hom met jou hande hierso. Jy moet beweeg. Daai body shots toe, jy moet hom werk. Moenie kanse vat met jou nie. Okay. Hy staan voor jou, hy wil nie daai een over right hand gooi.
In essence, Harold Volbrick talking about the angles, and look at that shot that Mercado got on him. I mean, that was a big shot by the youngster that hadn't muscled that much punch throughout the first 3 rounds.
Came right over the left hand, and Mercado was going to jump on him when he was on his back, and you see Skippers That left hand, he left it low, Sam, and right over the top of it came the right.
Hang on. Hang on.
Mercado off the school early as Ranel getting ready to come out to answer the bell for round 5. He had the knockdown of Skippers in the white in the 4th round. And he loaded up early, got the big knockdown, and then went back into the shell as Skippers regained his composure. And again, Harold Bolbrick talking about angles somewhat and just going ahead and staying out in front and throwing some punches. Get busy again, in essence.
Well, Mercado just has the bullseye painted on his puss. And I tell you what, Skippers can't miss it. He is peppering him with that jab, combination
Right.
punching.
Step back.
In total domination of the fight with the exception of one right hand when Skippers fell asleep there in that 4th round.
Another thing that Skippers has not forgotten about is doing some pretty good body work. He's headhunting quite a bit more than his body, but you can see him hook the left and the right to the body occasionally just to try to drop the gloves a little
Keep your head
more.
out of him,
And you
okay?
see the effects of the combination punching now in Mercado's face as his swelling continues to increase around the eyes and the jaw. He can't miss with that jab. Mercado's got to learn to get his hands up and keep them up. Counter right hand by Mercado. Caught Skippers right flush in the face.
Almost caught him on the way out that time was the only thing that saved him on that one, I think.
Another right hand by Mercado. And that, of course, is the most effective punch you're going to find
Right,
when you
step back.
fight a left-hander,
Right,
to
keep
throw
going.
that right hand.
There we go.
Skippers can't get sloppy. He's got to remember to keep those hands up when he punches.
You can bet between rounds also, in addition to trying to encourage him being busy, is to not lose your focus again, as that's what happened to him in the 4th, and Mercado puts him down. Now Skippers very much back in control of the fight again in round 5.
And it's easy to see how Skippers really lost a little focus there. I mean, when you're just tattooing a guy and your opponent's offering very little resistance or offense, you know, you're going to make a mistake like that.
Right.
And he pulled, once again, Skippers pulling Mercado down from behind the neck for about the 8th or 9th time.
You know, John, looking at Mercado and that great shot we had for you there, he looks totally exhausted. I mean, he looks like he has just absolutely spun every bit of energy he has right now.
He has just been eating leather from the opening bell, and that has not stopped. You see little pity pat punches there from Skippers, piling up points.
I wouldn't be surprised if Hunt doesn't come in and warn Mercado again, either the fight or he's got to stop it, as you see Skippers really teeing off on him.
That left hand behind that jab.
Closing seconds of round 5 as we're halfway through this scheduled 10-rounder.
Let's go. Stop.
Well, from the seat of his pants to a solid 5th round, it was Skippers coming back as Naas performed well. And again, I would assume if the key word was busy and throw some punches, that was the answering call, and he did just that in the 5th round against Mercado.
And you noticed Len Hunt, the referee, looking at Mercado near the end of that round.
Not bad.
He's going to be watching closely to make sure the fighter does not take more punishment than he really needs to take at this point.
Yeah, an interesting part of the corner is the fact that Len Hunt, the referee, had leaned in at the start of the 3rd round. It was almost to see if the fighter, Mercado, wanted to continue. He did through the 3rd, and then, of course, the 4th round as he throws another big right hand.
Once again, that counter shot, Skipper's leaving himself wide open.
Carousel Hotel and Casino here in South Africa, the site of tonight's fight, as they answer the bell, and they are not going to, as that's going to be it. So Mercado is going to stop on the stool, and Skippers will be declared the winner here. So there was the conversation that was going on, and again, it had started before the start of the 3rd round, or maybe at the end of the 3rd, but nonetheless there was conversation going on almost endlessly in that corner. And finally now, as they get ready to start the 6th round, this one has been officially called, and a TKO win for Skippers, who was the only man down in this fight tonight, interesting enough, but gets a very solid win out of it.
If he had continued to fight on Mercado, it's unlikely he would have been able over the next 5 rounds to really turn the tide, but he surprised us, Sam, with that right hand. We didn't think he necessarily had the power and certainly he was not in the fight at any other time.
Well, you could probably count the big punches by Mercado on one hand, and of course one of them was a knockdown punch. Let's get the official time. Errol Bulbrook talking to his fighter. And, you know, one of the things they'll talk more about than anything is, yes, you did win. Yes, you did this, that, and the other. But what about the fourth
Ladies
round?
and gentlemen, our fighter does not come out of the corner for a cut eye. A winner by technical knockout, Naas Scheepers.
So Naas Scheepers gets it. It turned out it was the cut they were looking at, but probably a little more than that, as well as the referee